Hey guys, Mr. and Mrs. J here. And as I said the other day, I don't want to talk about it anymore, actually. The stupid technical difficulties that have ruined hours worth of recordings. So we're gonna take another test today, and then after we're done with this test, I'm referring to myself in third person again.
I was gonna say, you're not calling me Mister, are you?
Miss J and I, we're gonna go out with your sister and brother-in-law, and we're gonna go out on a double date. We have no idea where we're going or whatever. So tweet us, because we'll, I don't know, maybe we'll have some funny vines or something, or I'll be vining out there.
He loves Vine. It's his newest addiction.
So we are going to take another test. And we decided that we're going to take the road rage test. And we've not looked at these questions or anything yet, so we're going to open it up together.
Voila!
Okay, so now we got the test open up on both. That one will be you, this one will be me. I let her have the captain's chair today. So, anyway.
I'm driving the ship.
You're driving the shit? Or the ship?
Ship,
right.
I said. It was a P.
Potty, let's take the potty mouth test. You'll lose. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a bigger potty mouth than you.
Question number 1. Have you ever gone out of your way to follow someone after they've cut you off in traffic?
No.
Well, I have a couple of stories, actually. Do you remember that time I told you about the guy who cut me off in Redlands, and he was screaming and cussing at me? And so I, followed him for a couple of exits, and then you sent me over to the store to pick up those stupid bags for you. When I was crossing the street, that guy, pulled up to the red light.
Oh.
Yeah, I followed him for a while, but he had no idea who I was in the crosswalk, because...
Oh, yeah, you told me. He didn't even recognize you. He was some weird old man?
It's some old man, but I think he got freaked out when I started following him, because he had, darted off the freeway real quick. And so he took city streets over there. That's how I got there before him, because I stayed on the freeway. And then right here, once when I was coming out of Carl's Jr., a guy apparently didn't like the fact that I was waiting for traffic. So he pulled around me and screamed out his window, "Hey, you fucking idiot, you're holding up traffic." So he, peeled out around me. I followed him all the way to Ontario. That's probably 25 miles.
What gratification do you get out of,
If you saw the way he was driving, you would know he was scared. Because he was making very erratic maneuvers, and when he tried to merge onto the 210, he almost lost control because he did a quick, jerky motion right at the end trying to... I was in the Firebird, that's how long ago it was, but I was in the Firebird.
Wow, that was a while.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna put yes. And I would put yes twice if I could. Number 2, you're at a busy grocery store parking lot waiting for a space. Someone comes by and swipes your spot. Do you demand the space from them?
No, I just bitch and complain.
You're not very confrontational. You'll bitch and complain to me is what you'll do. I don't think I would demand the space from them, but I would definitely make it very fully aware how dissatisfied I am with them at that moment, yes. Question number 3, have you ever told a police officer off for pulling you over?
No.
I'm gonna say no because I've never been pulled over when I didn't deserve it. Number 4, an elderly woman in front of you is driving slowly. Do you stay behind her at a distance, go around her and honk as you go by, or lay on your horn until grandma speeds up?
I usually just go around, but I don't honk.
Fine then, we'll do the stay behind at a distance because that's the only passive one on there. Another story about Jay's driving habits. There was one time I was driving along, and this guy or whatever, I couldn't see who was driving in the car, was going 45 on the freeway. And I was, just come on, go! And they were in the middle lane, not in the slow lane, in the middle lane. So I finally got an opening, and I made it a point to zoom next to them, and I laid on the horn as I went by, and this little old man, freaked out for a second. He could barely see over the wheel, and he, the horn clearly scared...
The poor man.
The horn clearly scared him, and he kind of, jerked a little bit, and then he, slowed down even more, and I thought to I felt like a dick afterwards, I can be honest, because I was like, man, I just honked at my grandpa, or someone's grandpa who's gotta go and get his medication, he's gotta get his heart pills, and, so-and-so wasn't available to drive him, so he dusted off the keys and was, driving himself for the first time since 1986, and I felt bad. I did feel
never
bad.
drove again?
Probably not. So yes, I laid on the horn, go around her and honk as I go by, yes. Number 5, someone is in your reserved parking space. I deal with this at work all the time. You guys have kind of your unofficial assigned spots.
Yeah, we get picky if someone parks in our spots. We're very territorial. Everyone parks in the same spot every day.
Okay, do you park on the street, have them towed, or find another spot but leave an angry note on their windshield? They need to have option number 4, confront the person in the office, because usually it's someone in our office who parks in the spot.
Yeah. I don't have that problem because we all park in the same
spot.
Then
I'm gonna do find another spot but leave an angry note. Only we'll substitute angry note for confront them.
Okay.
What about you?
I would just park somewhere else, so I guess park on the street.
You are too damn nice.
Alright,
number 6.
driver.
Have you ever given someone the finger while driving?
Yes.
I've given someone all fingers while driving before.
Yes.
Okay.
I do that.
You have the most... Flip off the camera. You have the most unaggressive flip off ever. Well, right there when you do that little motion, but I've seen you flip people off before. You're I've done that thing too where you drive. I've done that thing too where you drive past someone and because they're going too slow, and as you drive by, you're oh, you can't really see it. It's out the window. I've done that before. Can't even see it. I was doing that. I was doing that. That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. I was like this. I was like this. That was me.
Have you ever driven on the sidewalk?
Define sidewalk.
How far up on the curb have you gone?
There were times that I had to get where I was going while I worked for FedEx.
We've both driven on sidewalks. Let's just put yes.
When have you driven on the sidewalk? And why? Did you mistake it for a street?
I needed to get where I was going.
You're this street is a lot more narrow than I remember. Get out of the way, people! Get out, pedestrians in the road! Jesus Christ! Get out of the... Meep, meep! What are you doing in the middle of the... Get that baby out of the way! I know that's what you were doing.
I have not driven over any babies.
Lately. Number 8. Have you ever gone through a red light because you felt you waited long enough for it to turn green? Yes, I have. In fact, when I used... Remember
I
when
did it the other day.
Well, remember I told you Officer Brandon with the CHP when I was with the CHP in San Bernardino? Remember I asked her once, and I was like, oh, what's your stance on running red lights? And she's like, if I'm sitting at a red light and it's not turning and it's gone through 2 cycles and it doesn't let me go, she's like, I'm going. At that point, you can consider it faulty hardware. That was from a CHP officer herself.
I was sitting at the light trying to pick my Kaylin up from school the other day, and it was not changing, and people were making a 3rd lane and going around and everything, and I was like, oh, heck no.
Really? You're that person that's like, I'm gonna be... Guys, there's rules in place for a reason.
No, I waited till I was at the front.
I'm not moving. This is not safe.
I waited till I was at the front of the light to be able to move because there's people in my way.
That's when you make the 4th lane and you go around everybody. God, remember that sidewalk thing we talked about?
I would have.
Number 9. Have you ever cut through a gas station to avoid a red light?
Mm-hmm.
I've done it to avoid tickets, to be honest.
People do that at work all the time.
I've done it to avoid tickets. Question number 10. Have you ever gotten into an actual physical confrontation over a driving incident? What? Hey! We've already determined in this test that I have anger problems, and I have actually put up vlogs about my anger and confrontational problems, have I not?
So just click yes for you, because you know it's a yes.
Everybody deserved it.
No, I have never gotten in a physical confrontation.
My dad has. Yeah. My dad taught me the ways of physical confrontation. There's a story my mom has when
your
she
mom
was...
and your dad.
My mom, yeah, she's so funny when she's... Meep, meep, such a bitch. I mean, like, that video I did on the tech channel where she was like, Dorothy's gonna think I'm such a bitch. That's how she tells someone off when she's driving. She doesn't get all, you know, like...
But get her on the phone and... That's another
story.
Well,
yeah, if we're talking about customer support, that's different. So damn it, the customer's always right, and she means it. So anyway, my dad, they were trying to leave a parking garage, and you know how they have those little, like, those kiosks where you have to, you know, pay and get the ticket and all that crap? My mom tells this story, they were in the station wagon, and she was pregnant with me, and this guy in front of us, I guess, was just not moving his car out of the way, and my dad lightly tapped on the horn. And then my mom said, up through the sunroof came the finger. The guy stuck his hand out the sunroof. My dad, you understand, a lot of my anger stuff I deal with, I get directly from him and his side of the family. Because my mom said the next thing she knew, the door opened, and then the door closed. Kerthunk. And she saw my dad do, because remember, my dad he'd just gotten out of the military. He was enlisted man. He did weapons instruction. He was a military badass. We talked about that. He doesn't tolerate that kind of stuff, and he's all about respect.
Yeah.
He got disrespected. Pretty badly right there. And the way he looked at it more or less was his wife got disrespected because they flipped the both of them off, right?
Yeah.
So she says next thing she knows, he's got this guy by the throat through the window. He's leaning into this guy's car and he sees his finger. Like, imagine what you would see a drill instructor doing, right? And he just sees his hand and he's moving and he's just going off on this guy, and then he lets him go and he walks back to the car and he sits down in the car. My mom said the guy kind of like turned and he politely did his thing and he started to drive away slowly, and then he like put his finger out the window again and like peeled off. My dad was like, "Argh!" Yeah, so anyway, if you wonder where I get it, there you go. So let's go ahead and see who is the more angry driver here.
We already know.
I know, you've got a lot of yeses over there.
Well, towards the bottom.
I am 80% angry out of 100. Talk about a recipe for disaster. We'll go ahead and read mine after yours. Okay. You're only 40. What does your score mean? According to the results of this test, you have a moderate case of road rage, though you don't always lose your cool.
Typical California driver.
There are certain people like you are what make people like me who we are. Just saying.
Yeah.
Though you don't always lose your cool, there are certain circumstances that overheat your circuitry and make you fume. Perhaps you get overly impatient while waiting at the red light, or you have a low level of tolerance for super slow drivers. Whatever the case, you're probably making mountains out of molehills. If you're going to drive, you have to accept the fact that it won't always be smooth sailing. In preservation of your own mental and physical health, for the sake of everyone else on the road, try to put these highway frustrations into perspective. They are just not worth the headache. You should really calm down a little bit when you're driving.
Oh, I should calm down a little bit?
You're preserving your mental health.
I think you need to preserve your mental health.
Here's what mine says. Talk about a recipe for disaster. Talk about a recipe for disaster. In one vehicle, mix a handful of combination of the following ingredients: pride, aggression, anger, frustration, impatience, intolerance, and stress.
They totally just
Wait, when did I talk to these guys? Stir vigorously, and you've got yourself a healthy helping of road rage. Road rage. Okay, according to this test, you've got all the symptoms. You get overly worked up over everyday driving situations and often resort to nasty tactics to bulldoze your way through traffic. Maybe even physically attacking others. One of the problems with this volatile concoction is that most of the people afflicted by it don't even realize they have a problem. I'm not the problem, everyone else on the road is the problem.
I think that's what they're trying to say.
For your own mental well-being and physical health, and for the safety of everyone else on the road, you should work on overcoming your highway demons before they lead to disaster. What the fuck does this thing know? A couple of words on the internet are going to try and put a chart in my anger level when it comes to road rage and driving. They don't know shit. I'm driving all of us out tonight, aren't I?
Probably.
Car vlog! Incoming! Hey, I have plenty of car vlogs where you can see I'm being tailgated, I'm being passed, I'm not driving aggressively. There's not been one time in any of my car vlogs where I've been the aggressor. But the moment the camera turns off, it's like, get out of the way! Get out of the way!
That yet.
Alright guys, we're gonna get on out of here. I'm thinking maybe sometime this weekend, Mr. and Mrs. J are gonna live stream Slender the Arrival, the high-quality version of Slender Man. Maybe we'll finally get some payback on you tapping me on the shoulder. Stupid, horrible driving, god...